Hello, welcome to the Analogue Wonderland channel. I am Paul Mackay and today we're going to be taking you through one of the best budget high-speed black and white films, Foma Pan Action. Quick one before we get started. If you like film photography and want to see more videos like this one, film reviews, tips and tricks, that kind of thing, then please do make sure you're subscribed to our channel and notifications are turned on. Thank you so much. Now, before I get into the Foma Pan, I do want to apologise for the slightly pared down look of today's video. If you've been following along for a while, you'll be used to a very shiny background with a lovely desk and everything. But if you're watching this in real time in August 21, you'll know that we've just moved warehouse. So we are stood in a semi-deserted room and we will set up the studio shortly. So there we go, that apology is out of the way. We have, however, managed to bring across, as you would expect, some gorgeous cameras to provide some visual backdrop. So, Fomapan 400, made by Foma, the company based out of the Czech Republic. And there they create beautiful black and white emulsions that tend to be relatively budget performance and price versus some of the high-end Kodak, high-end Ilford. But don't let that fool you, they are still absolutely brilliant films for capturing specific looks. Fomapan 400 is known as the action film in their range versus classic and creative, the 100 and 200 respectively. And we have covered one of the earlier Foma Pans, I think back in November or December last year in the Wonder Box. And it's called action because of its higher speed. 400 ISO means that you can shoot action, you can shoot sports, children, pets, and because it's higher ISO, you can afford to use a faster shutter speed and freeze the action when it's happening really soon. Now, why have we given you a 400 ISO film when it's summer in the Wonder Box? Two reasons. Number one, because we've given you loads of low ISO at the same time, either side, Silvera Pan 160. We've recently had Color Plus 200, loads of different films with low ISO. And if you are taking nighttime, dark shots, or if the weather isn't good, who would have thought it, then this gives you at least something in the Wonder Box that allows you to shoot regardless of the lighting situation. It's also worth saying that this film can be pushed pretty successfully up to 1600, and we've even seen 3200. Now, it does get pretty grainy at that level, but if that's what you're after, at least you know that this will deliver you results. And the second reason that's very cheesy is because it's the Olympics at the moment, and therefore this is an action film for reenacting your own sport at home, should you be inspired by the athletes doing their thing. So when I say it is a slightly budget performance versus high-end Kodak, high-end Ilford, what do I mean? I mean that it's going to be slightly grainier than some of those films at the same speeds. Now, it's still not crazy, and actually one of the tricks with Foma is that you can use different developers, like for other films, to accentuate or to minimize the grain. Shooting the film is actually only half of the final result. We're not going to get into that too much. That's sort of a step further than what we normally talk about in Wonder Box. But if you are into either home developing or fine-tuning developers to match, broadly speaking, Rodinol will accentuate the grain and make it look a little bit grungier, and Perceptol will tone it down and give you the smoothest grain possible from this film. And it will deliver a lovely balance between contrast, grain, smoothness, the lights and darks. This will not look necessarily like a cheap film, especially if you're using it out and about. It will allow you to capture a lot of images that you haven't before. And it is well loved by the community because its performance is generally regarded as punching above its weight in terms of the price you'll pay. You will get great results versus what you might expect for a film of this price. When you look at customer reviews on our site and the images that people leave, you'll see a general theme of comments coming out that say the contrast is nice, not too much. The grain is great, but it won't punch you in the face. I like that one in particular. People talk about there being some nice halations around the highlight, so that's a nice little glow around really strong light sources. People talk about the brilliant value it is. People talk about the fact it's brilliant for beginners because of the results it will deliver without breaking the bank. And a budget point of view, it can be used for a multitude of different things. So ISO 400 gives you that ability to shoot sports, all the way down to portraits or to street or to landscape if you wish, and still get good results. The other thing that's always worth mentioning with Foma, because it regularly comes up, is that when you develop Foma at home and you pour out the developer, it will be green, which is normally a bit of a giveaway as to which brand you're going for. The first time you see it, it is a bit shocking, but don't worry, that's nothing to do with the chemicals going bad or anything. It's a specific dye that Foma Pan used to stabilize the emulsion on their backing. Comes off with the developer. Very worth seeing the first time it happens, but nothing that's wrong. So what will I be using this for? So for me, this is going to be going in my backup camera, so a point and shoot across this summer month for those times when it is dark, for those times when I'm still wanting to shoot film and it's night, for those days when the clouds have moved in and it is terrible weather. I will be putting it in probably a Canon point and shoot that has an inbuilt flash, because I know that this film will be able to cope if I get the exposure a bit wrong, if I get too close to subject with the strong flash, it will be able to deliver results brilliantly. If you've shot it before, I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with the general perception of the community that this is a great value film, that you will get fantastic results given its perceived budget? If you haven't shot it before, what are you excited about trying? Have you ever shot a film from the Czech Republic before? And for Wonderbox subscribers, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to flex your creative muscles. I've given you a 400 ISO in summer, so not only does that allow you to do those things I've talked about in terms of shooting in low light, but even in bright light, that gives you the wonderful combination of a small aperture and a fast shutter. So what can you do creatively to freeze action, knowing that you have a pretty long focal plane as well to play with? Those are a couple of thoughts from me. I hope you have a wonderful time shooting. I really look forward to seeing your results in the monthly Wonderbox photo competition, or as always, drop links below, whether that's Instagram links, Flickr albums, personal web pages. If you've shot Fomapan 400 and you have something interesting to say that the community could learn from, we would always love to see those photos and to read your thoughts. That's it for now. Thank you so much. I will be back next week with hopefully a slightly jazzier background.